Let's get started. Find a seat. Thank you. Council members Nowakowski and Pastor are wrapping up things back at City Hall. They'll be here, but we're going to do the video and those things first before we get to your speaking parts. My name's Ed Zerker. I'm the city manager. Welcome. This is the final evening of our budget hearing series. And so this is number 19 of 20. There's another one going on right now that we'll say that's number 20 of 20. But the information we get from all of these is really important to us. So thank you for being here. And we encourage your input. The budget this year is a good budget, as good as we've had in a long time. There's some things that we can do that we're talking about tonight. If you want information, we invite you to look in the written material or go online at phoenix.gov/budget. If you are hoping to speak tonight, or if you would like to speak tonight, everyone who wants to will, please fill out a card and we'll ask you to speak from the podium. We have about an 8-minute video that gives a high-level overview of the budget. Thank you, Councilwoman Pastor, for hosting us here this evening. I also want to introduce Sapand Alazadeh from Mayor Gallego's office. He is the Community Relations Director, and this is his second week on the job. So, first week. Oh, okay, first week on the job. So, here to talk to you folks afterwards. Thank you for being here. We also have lots of city staff here who are here both to listen to what you have to say, but also to talk to you if you have specific issues. So, thank you to our city staff, but most of all, thank you to the public for coming out this evening. And with that, we will hit the video.
Welcome to your first look at the City of Phoenix trial budget for 2019-20, proposed by the city manager for public review and comment. The city budget is about people and programs for a stronger Phoenix. Every year, the city prepares a trial budget. This process gives you, our residents, an opportunity to share your priorities and feedback on how tax dollars are spent. 3 important points about this year's budget. It is balanced, which is required by law, and there is a surplus to allocate toward people and programs. Also, for the first time since the recession, ongoing revenues are equal to ongoing costs. We have a nearly $1.4 billion structurally balanced general fund budget thanks to Phoenix's continued strong economy and sound leadership by the mayor and city council. These efforts have led to a projected surplus of $55 million, of which $35 million is in ongoing resources and $20 million is in one-time resources. Over the next several minutes, we'll provide you a high-level view of the recommendations for how that surplus could be spent. Approximately 70% of the surplus is proposed for employee compensation, and the remaining 30% is proposed for services. And $5.5 million to continue investing in the Public Safety Pension Reserve Trust Fund to protect against unexpected downturns in investments. The 2019-20 trial budget continues to provide the core services residents expect. Chief among these is public safety. In addition, many recommendations are focused on improving neighborhoods, parks, libraries, support for outreach and services for people experiencing homelessness, additional street landscape maintenance, and preparations for the 2020 census. The city also continues to invest in maintaining the facilities you depend on and the fleet of vehicles that provide you everything from police response to street cleanups. Besides these proposals, we'll highlight expenditures that help the city address growth in construction and maintain the city's wastewater infrastructure. First, general fund recommendations. The general fund is made up of several different sources of revenue, including sales taxes, state shared revenue, and property taxes. 3/4 of the general fund pays for police, fire, and courts, with a smaller portion, the remaining 25%, going for everything else, like libraries, parks, senior services, arts, and administrative and support functions. The primary focus of the general fund service additions is public safety across a wide array of departments. Here are some of the proposals. 8 new firefighter positions to provide 24-hour operations at Fire Station 55 at I-17 and Jomax Road in North Phoenix. Add funding for 7 sworn fire positions, creating a new ambulance rescue unit at Fire Station 58 to improve emergency response times in Southwest Phoenix. The creation of 1 new fire department crisis intervention unit, and in the police department, de-escalation training and community response services support for officer-involved shootings. These recommendations are based on public feedback from last year's budget process and the city's Traumatic Incident Intervention Resources Ad Hoc Committee. Another key area of public safety funding is focused on improving police support processes, using civilian staff to free up police officers' valuable time for calls and service. First, the addition of 10 civilian positions to support a federally mandated transition to the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting National Incident-Based Reporting System. And second, the addition of 13 positions to streamline police booking procedures and create 2 new centralized booking centers to get officers back on the street faster. The trial budget also provides funding for increased inspection capacity to ensure buildings are meeting fire safety codes. Other public safety allocations: public defender representation for veterans and individuals with mental illness. In human services, add a caseworker and a vehicle to provide mobile victim advocacy. Security guard staffing at every library. Technology funding for cybersecurity to protect the city's infrastructure. In all, the trial budget proposes spending an additional $6.5 million on these and other public safety additions. Now, let's look at where you live, investments in programs to strengthen neighborhoods. First, the budget would allocate approximately $1 million to add staff to work with neighborhood groups, to clean up blight, work with nearby businesses, and improve response times for neighborhood issues. Parks and Recreation would see 8 new park ranger positions to increase patrol coverage at neighborhood and urban parks for a cost of about $1.1 million. Street Transportation and Public Works would support neighborhoods by transitioning staff from a temporary to permanent status to clean up encampments and washes and right-of-way for a cost of $970,000. Historic Preservation would also get $75,000 to support historic property preservation. In all, neighborhood revitalization would see an additional $3.5 million in funding. Next, Community Services additions restore some desired programs to strengthen the community and expand other resident requests, including restoration of Sunday library hours at 4 branches means all libraries will be open to provide greater access to in-demand books, movies, classes, and programs for library patrons of all ages. Expand the Phoenix Teens program for youth at 10 city sites, providing youth programs 6 days per week at a cost of $448,000. Providing case management assistance for homeless seniors and grant funding for arts organizations for youth and underserved communities would also be included. The budget would also add $1.3 million for long-standing street landscape maintenance needs, increasing frequency of maintenance from 3 to 4 times per year. New this year, a proposal to allocate funding to implement participatory budgeting or other projects in city council districts. Lastly, the city will invest in outreach to encourage residents to take part in the 2020 census. Given the move to digital form submission this census, the additional funds will help to ensure hard-to-count and hard-to-reach populations participate, so that Phoenix gets its fair share of the approximately $866 million in annual revenues allocated through federal programs for public safety, transportation, housing, and human services. Overall, added general fund expenditures outlined in the trial budget total $55.2 million and would add 131 positions to strengthen our people, programs, services, and infrastructure. Moving on to propose non-general fund additions for a variety of services. Strengthening our street transportation department with 11 positions added or converted to full-time for a variety of services to support increasing work in the right-of-way and the recently expanded street maintenance funding in the Capital Improvement Program budget, $768,000. Water Services will see 21 positions and approximately $2.9 million in funding to keep up with demand at the department's 91st Avenue treatment site, the state's largest. The site is currently treating 180 million gallons of water a day for more than 2.5 million residents in 5 cities. Finally, 19 positions for planning and development to address increasing construction demand, including reduction of turnaround times for pre-application submittals and complex commercial architectural plans. Added staff to ensure adherence to fire system requirements and ADA accessibility codes, and to maintain a 24-hour turnaround time for residential inspections. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about the 2019-20 trial budget. We hope that you'll review additional details in the budget pamphlet available at one of our 19 community budget hearings and online at phoenix.gov/budget. Please share your feedback in whatever way works best for you, at a public meeting or via email at budget.research@phoenix.gov. You can comment on the city's social media at City of Phoenix AZ on Facebook or Twitter and use hashtag PhoenixBudget, or call us at 602-262-4800. Thank you for being part of this important process.
All right, thank you. Before we go any further, I should ask Carmen, our interpreter, Spanish language interpreter, to introduce herself. Anybody need service? Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Nowakowski, Councilwoman Pastor. If you'd should we go straight to the cards? Let's go to the cards. We'll ask you to take no more than 3 minutes. We'll have a timer, but most people have been pretty good at that. Okay.
These are cards that I'm going to put on the record for not wanting to speak. Zaina Weatherall, invest in our people and not incarcerating them, people first. Rosemary Verdugo, community development, public housing, emergency, home repairs, community enrichment, youth programs. Daisy Danforth, homeless services, youth programs, and affordable housing. Mark Grenard, affordable housing, trauma funding, youth education, foreclosure prevention. Susan Morris, I would like to see more programs to get youth engaged in doing something useful for their communities and getting training to give them more solid futures. Let's say this is Jaden Thomas?
Yes.
Jaden Thomas, immigration, family, I don't know, getting split up, racism, police. Crystal Renteria, aside from affordable housing, attention should be made to communities, maintenance, lights, anything else benefiting living within society. Bill Rayner, 3rd and 5th Avenue traffic. Adriana Gonzalez, there should be an increased investment into mental health services and resources. The city does not offer much help to people struggling with their mental health, especially if these folks are poor or homeless. Y'all hate poor people, especially black and brown poor people and people with mental health issues. They're still your constituents. They deserve to be properly represented and invested into. Mental health. Can you speak on that?
Sure. Mental health services are responsibility both of the county and the state of Arizona. Mental health is not an issue funded or responsible that the city is responsible for. Of course, our residents deal with that, though. We've seen the impacts of a lack of mental health services on our residents, and also our police department and fire department end up being the first responders to mental health crises. So we're sort of in a tough spot as a city. When levels of government above us don't fulfill their responsibilities, it's left with the city oftentimes to fill in those gaps. But that responsibility does lie with the state and the county.
And I would say we do fill in those gaps when we offer grants to those nonprofits that have services for mental health. Is it okay if I start? Michael, do you want to read? No? Okay. This is my fifth, it's probably close to your fifth, budget hearing. This is our last budget hearing, so you can see I'm anxious. I'm not sure if Michael's anxious, but I'm anxious to get through this, as it's been a rough 3 weeks in the sense of all the budget hearings. So, Craig Tripkin, CAS and homelessness. What?
I guess I need this. Hello? We got it. Hi. Thank you for Mr. Councilman and Ms. Councilman. Thank you very much for having this hearing. I'm here to talk about CAS, funding for CAS and the CAS contract, all of which we need to address. Number one, we've done our part. In terms of fundraising, our fundraising has increased 78% this year, which is $500,000, which is more than half of what we get from the city. So we are doing our part. Secondly, and this is really important, we've increased regional support. Now, this is financial and it's not geographic, which would be nice, but we've got 53% increase of money from other cities, and I think that's very important. We've accomplished a number of things this year. We've gotten grants for housing navigators. We acquired a Glendale building, not for shelter, but for navigation purposes, so we can start the process of continuing to regionalize this issue. I'm going to jump to our increased financial burdens. Briefly, our funding from United Way is being cut by $236,000. Our general salaries and benefits are going to cost us healthcare is up 8%, and that's going to cost us, and so is minimum wage up, so that's going to cost us an additional $110,000. And then increased human services campus facility charge. We're looking at increased rent for them. This year it went from 10,000 to 100 and some thousand, and we're looking at it going up to more like 200,000 or more, and we really don't know what that's going to be. So we've got a net revenue change of $546,000. Briefly, things we want to do next year: we want to have an eviction prevention program. We want to open up our Glendale building. We want to co-locate behavioral health. We're working right now, in fact, we made a deal today pretty much with Maricopa Integrated Health Systems to have a hospital drop-off program, which is going to have medical on site. We're going to set aside 5 beds for that. What we're asking the city of Phoenix, and I have a handy thing here, we are asking for the city to pick up half of the uncontrollable cost deficit that we're looking at, and that's $258,000. We will privately raise the other half, and that's our commitment to you. We need partial relief from what is a narrowly specific cost reimbursement contract that we have with the city. Small example of what we have to deal with within the contract is we are measured by recidivism rates back to the shelter, especially with people we house. We would like to have an eviction prevention program in order to be more successful with recidivism, and we can't do that with the current city resources. So there are many, many other things that I think if we're going to really address the problem of homelessness, we have to be creative. We need to think outside the box. The contract we've got is 5 years old, 4 years old, and it basically has us doing the same things we were doing 4 or 5 years ago, if not longer. And if we're going to get ahead on this problem, well, I'm close to making it. If we're going to get ahead, if we're going to keep doing what we've done, we're going to get what we got. And we need to really open up that contract and work harder. Thank you so much.
John Walker, bike infrastructure.
Hi, Good evening, and thank you for taking my comments. My name is John Walker. I'm here on behalf of the Phoenix spokespeople. I'm a longtime Phoenix resident and attorney. I've lived here for 25 years, and I lived in Central Phoenix for 8 years, and I've bike commuted for that time. There's no getting away from it, as reflected in the news media more recently, that Phoenix can and generally is fairly dangerous for pedestrian and cyclists. In 2011, there were 38 pedestrian deaths. In 2017, that almost tripled to 97. I think this really is a public health crisis in terms of the transportation and what the city can do. The cause really is the city has traditionally been designed around cars and getting them from their destinations as fast as possible, building wide streets, and really neglecting other users of streets, including pedestrians, cyclists. What could make this safer and what we're asking the city to continue to do, and some of this has been started to be done, reducing lanes, creating narrower lanes, doing traffic calming and including protected bike lanes. Phoenix spokespeople has been around since 2011. We've been doing this for 7 or 8 years. We've been going to budget hearings, talking to city officials, transportation department quite a bit. And I've got to say, there's really been a lack of progress with significant infrastructure change, and that's really discouraging. In fact, just last year, the vast majority of the Complete Streets Advisory Board resigned in protest because of the lack of progress that was happening. My personal experience, I do commute every day. I have a 4-year-old and 2-year-old daughters. I commute with the 4-year-old. I bike her to school. I ride along 3rd Street, south of Indian School Road, which is slated to have a really impressive improvement happen, and that's really exciting, but it's taken quite a bit. And frankly, the way 3rd Street is right now, it's really dangerous to ride a bike on there, so I have to ride on the sidewalk, which is not ideal. I go through 3rd and 5th Avenue on my commute. In the Willow neighborhood, it's not great, but it is better than north of Thomas in the St. Joe's area. That's a great example of a terrible street. 5 car lanes, tiny bike lanes on the side. There's not a lot of traffic volume, and these lanes are huge, so people drive very fast through there, and it's kind of this winding area. So it's just a terrible use, and there's no reason to have such big, wide, fast streets. There's not enough traffic for it, and it just places everyone's life in danger. And there's a lot of, I find it ironic, there's a lot of medical personnel jaywalking because there's not a lot of good crossing, and there's a lot of fast cars. And if anyone would think that they would know that that's so dangerous, but that's just a reality that people use the streets as they're designed. So we could really improve that. There are some improvements happening, but our issue now is it's gone too slow. So we really hope that the city continues to focus on that so we can take the bad press that we've been receiving and making that into good press. Thank you.
Thank you. As Steve Martin walks up, next Tuesday, those that are interested, we are having policy at 2:30, and the policy discussion is pedestrian safety.
Good evening. Thank you for welcoming us in these discussions. My name is Steve Martin. I'm actually the managing director of Child's Play, and after a 10-year absence, Child's Play is now a resident company in the Herberger Theater Center in downtown Phoenix. We're thrilled. We're bringing 80,000 young people, school children, and families into the Central City area to experience first-class art programming. Child's Play is a professional regional theater company. We hire professional directors, designers, actors, all for our young people because we believe that our young people deserve the best. I'm here to speak on behalf of arts funding. Child's Play receives rental support funding, and if we didn't receive that funding, we would not be able to pay our rent at the Herberger Theater Center and welcome all of these young people into the theater. We charge $10 to attend first-class theater productions. Without that rental support, we wouldn't be able to do that. And I don't know if you know this or not, but Child's Play was actually one of the original resident companies at the Herberger Theater Center when it opened, I think like 30 years ago, so, which is great. We're grateful for the support that we received through that program. I also want to tell you that Child's Play brings another wealth of experience and programming to the city of Phoenix. We actually put teaching artists in a tremendous number of classrooms in the city of Phoenix. We have a great relationship right now with the Osborne School District. We've been in Encanto Elementary School for many, many years, providing professional development programs as well as literacy development programs. And next year, we will start a program where we will be in 90 preschool classrooms throughout the city of Phoenix, in Osborne, Roosevelt, Phoenix Elementary, as well as Head Start classrooms. This is a $2.3 million program that we're implementing with Arizona State University that's being funded by a grant from the U.S. Department of Education. And so we're thrilled to be able to leverage our experience that we have and bring that experience into Phoenix preschool classrooms. And I'm going to get out of here. Finally, I just want to tell you that the money that you invest in arts programs, and it is an investment, goes right back to the city of Phoenix. Child's Play, as a matter of fact, does business with 125 different Phoenix businesses. We put that money right back into the pockets of the residents and employees of the city of Phoenix. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. We're just waiting for Child's Play to move to Phoenix. Their headquarters. That's what we would like. Gabriela Saavedra, Garfield neighborhood and 13th Street.
Hello, good evening. My name is Gabriela Saavedra, and this is my husband, Andrew Robb, and we're here representing the Garfield organization, a neighborhood alliance formed by other Garfield residents such as us with the sole interest in fostering a stronger sense of community to create a safer, more beautiful, and a more connected neighborhood. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with Garfield, we're a historic neighborhood in the heart of downtown Phoenix. We're a beautiful community with small businesses, a vibrant art scene, and a strong sense of community. In 2008, the City of Phoenix commissioned a preliminary roadway and drainage analysis for 13th Street from Moreland to Van Buren to improve drainage conditions. The intent was to develop alternatives for the installation of curbs, gutters, and asphalt along 13th Street. 11 years later, nothing has changed. This is a big deal in our community. When it rains, 13th Street and its cross streets become flooded with water pools. The water floods sidewalks and residents' front yards. After it rains, but before it dries out, there is standing murky water with mold and debris. When the rainwater dries, most of the 13th Street is filled with dust. Garfield Elementary School is located on the corner of 13th Street and Roosevelt and has its main entrance along 13th Street. All children attending Garfield Elementary walk daily through clouds of dust or, when it rains, water pools, mold, and debris. So our community has been dealing with this for so long, and we've been asking for a solution for 11 years. And this year we took it upon ourselves to attend as many budget hearings as we could. And I know that Councilman Nowakowski, City Manager Zerker, and Councilwoman Pastor have seen us numerous times. And so what we're asking is for the study to be made more than 10 years ago to be moved to designing and to begin construction to fix our streets. We're so grateful for all the attention to this issue, but we really want to make sure that this project moves forward so that you don't have to see us at every city budget hearing next year too. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Andrew, are you speaking or no? Okay. Jeff McAdams, 7th Avenue and traffic. 7th Avenue traffic.
Is this on or is it still on? It is my first meeting I've attended, so I apologize. I wasn't really familiar with what the format is. I was hoping the discussion would be more local. And so I live right over here on Wilshire. I wanted to applaud the gentleman who rides his bike down 3rd and 5th Avenue. But I live right off 7th Avenue, so you know, I'm sorry, I can't support, I mean, I support everything here. I think Phoenix underfunds everything. There's nothing I would disagree with. My complaint's very local. I've lived over 9 years, 7th Avenue between 3rd and 5th of Willow District, Encanto Vista, Encanto Palmcroft, all nice neighborhoods. That street's 6 lanes with a suicide lane in it. It's posted as 35. There's no businesses there. It's all residential, both sides between McDowell and Thomas, almost 100% until you get right up to Thomas. 9 years I've lived there. I've never seen anybody get a ticket on that street. If I drive 40, people are passing me, giving me the finger like I'm an idiot. People don't know how to use a suicide lane. You're allowed to turn when you're in the commuting direction. Half the people don't know that. It's a horrible thing to do. We were actually coming back, beautiful day, windows down. I'm in the lane. I always put my turn signal on 3 blocks in advance so that people can merge back. And some motorcycle yuppie was coming up, and I don't know why he didn't weave over, but he gets up right behind me, gets mad because I'm turning in what he thinks is a no-turn lane, and he's wrong, and guns it, pounds on the hood, pulls up, sees my little daughter, kind of feels bad, slinks away, you know. But they don't know. I mean, people are yelling at people. It's 4 lanes highway out of town, downtown, 2 lanes coming back, and people can turn into 1 lane. So now you're down to 1 lane. My complaint's simple. Why can't you put some police overtime presence on there? Get some tickets. Seriously, 9 years, I've never seen anybody get a ticket for driving over 35 on 7th Avenue. And I do have a 6-year-old girl. You were talking about riding your bicycle. I won't let her on 7th Avenue. They were talking about the pedestrian deaths. That's not a real hard one to figure out. You can literally kill somebody without hitting the curb. The sidewalks come right up to the road. The trucks are coming down there, the big pickups with their mirrors sticking out. Literally, if you're walking on the sidewalk, you can be dead like that. And it's because everybody's driving 50 miles an hour plus, trying to weave in and out of the lanes. So I realize this is the wrong meeting. I was hoping to find out how it was tied into the Phoenix Transportation 2050. I'm glad they took our little curbs that we had and put bumps on them, replaced them all, but if that's what they're planning on doing, it needs more. Thank you.
Thank you. So Jeff, welcome to Phoenix.
Thank you.
I've lived in this neighborhood 36 years, and those streets have been there as long as I have lived there for 36 years. So I can tell you what the debate is. And when I first ran for this area in office, my opponent said, if you vote for me, I'll get rid of those reverse lanes. Well, that was a controversy. It's always a controversy within our neighborhoods, within the 7s. And I stood up and I said, I can't do that. And they all looked at me and they said, why? I said, it takes 5 votes to get rid of reverse lanes. And I would never, I can try, I can push, but you haven't seen it happen. And the gentleman that was sitting before me, Tom Simplot, who really pushed and did a study and everything, he could not gather the 5 votes. So my push to you, and we are trying to figure out, little by little, it's kind of going to work its way up, but my push is to start working other council people to work on getting rid of the reverse lanes. So that's my advice to you. Jeannie.
Good evening. Okay, I admit I'm also happy this is the last meeting. I haven't been to as many this year, but I am happy. The issues and solutions for homeless and the transient population are not the same. Addressing both under the guise of homelessness isn't fair to the homeless population or help with the transient issues. Phoenix has a compassionate and realistic program for each population, but we're not adequately supporting it. It's called the Repeat Offenders Program. Unfortunately, the name implies that only the transient issues are being addressed. But in fact, in practice, the homelessness are being protected and helped as well as our neighborhoods. We call it public safety, but but the main issues each year are all about past agreements, and not everyone counts the same when it comes to the issue. Please, let's take this next year to discuss and solve the issues. So next year, the round of hearings is all about keeping the public safe. And yes to park rangers, please. Thank you.
Mike? Thank you. Well, I think I pretty much can say it. Olasco?
Olesko.
Olesko.
It sounds like, oh, let's go.
Oh. Thank you, teacher. Yes, I will remember that.
Good evening, folks. My name is Michael Olesko. I hope you can hear me without holding onto this microphone. So the only thing is
We need it for the TV.
And for television, they won't hear you. Okay. For the people on TV, we're watching TV. So my name is Michael Olesko. A little biased. I am so pro the arts program in the city of Phoenix. I'm on the Arts and Culture Commission, and specifically on the Public Art Committee. It is volunteer work. We work long hours, and we really spend a lot of time vetting the public art projects that come in. I'd like to thank Council for the additional $25,000 that came into the grants program, which would benefit Child's Play. The $100,000 for the maintenance program sounds like a lot of money, but for public art, the amount of public art that's throughout the city, that's peanuts. We would like to see that at least stay at that level or be increased. One of the things that I think people don't realize is that the public art really is about your neighborhoods and communities. We really work diligently to make sure that the art is distributed throughout Phoenix. You can see some of these things with the water department doing various projects, and we are doing a lot of things now with public transportation. So there's a lot of combinations that happen with public art, that it's not just for beauty, but it's also for safety. It's also for bus shelters and structures. So one of the things I'd like to see is not only the budget stay the same, at least increased if we could, but for the council to look at maybe the $1 per capita that would go into arts grant funding. I think that would really be a great thing. Thank you very much, and appreciate your time.
Katie McFadden, and rental support program for arts organization.
Thank you for taking the time to hear from your constituents. My name is Katie McFadden, and I've been a Phoenix resident since 2002, living mostly in 85013, and I'm a full-time actor and teaching artist with Child's Play Theater Company. Child's Play is an internationally recognized professional theater company that performs for school students, young people, and families. By professional, we mean that we hire trained and dedicated artists, directors, designers, actors, and craftspeople, because we believe our young people deserve the very best theater possible. Our home, as you know, is the Herberger Theater Center, where we are currently performing the Very Hungry Caterpillar show, which is targeted towards our youngest audience members, ages 3 through 6. We've enjoyed sold-out performances for both the general public performances and school shows. In fact, on most days of the week, we are performing for 600 preschoolers and kindergartners, which is a blast, let me tell you. They know the books inside and out, and they speak the lines with us. Without the grant we received from the rental support program, our ticket prices would be out of range for most of the preschools that are attending the production. Child's Play also has an extensive programs in the Phoenix schools. We're currently working with the Osborne School District, several schools there, doing a dual language preschool program where we're developing skills for teachers using drama techniques. These techniques are instrumental in developing literacy skills with our youngest students. Child's Play brought this program to the Osborne District with significant funding from the Helios Education Foundation. Child's Play is also happy to report that this year we've provided employment for more than 90 Phoenix-based actors, directors, designers, stage managers, artisans, craftspeople, and teaching artists. We still have one more weekend of the Very Hungry Caterpillar show, and Schoolhouse Rock Live starts next weekend, so come on down to the Herberger and see what we do. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Bob Herman, 3rd and 5th Avenue Police Funding. Bob, Cinco de Mayo is here soon.
Okay, I'm Bob Herman. I live in the Willow neighborhood. I live along 5th Avenue, and there's a lot of speeding. There's a lot of traffic, and it's a neighborhood. And we have a lot of people that walk their dogs, ride their bicycles, walk with their children, and something needs to be done about it. Now, there is a study for 3rd and 5th Avenue that between Van Buren and McDowell. And that's been, 5 years, 6 years? Still haven't turned any dirt to start on that project. We've started a project from McDowell to Thomas, and that's been in the study phase for 2 years. We've had a couple of presentations by the Streets Transportation Department, but they're not really very responsive in coming back and coming up with answers that we want. So anyhow, so that's it. We have a lot of speeding. We're asking the city to, all of the neighborhoods have this. So I kind of have taken it upon myself to make sure that the City of Phoenix Police Department knows when there's speeders on our streets, especially along 5th Avenue. So Phoenix Police has something called a speeding hotline. And so you call the speeding hotline, which I have a lot of times, and I encourage you to do it. It's on their website. You can find out what it is. It's on my speed dial, so I don't know what the number is. So you call it, and it's never answered by a human being. Never. Not once. So you leave a message, you tell them what the problem is, and in a day or two, if you get a call back, someone will say, oh, we'll tell the officers. And that's it. So, so the other part of my question was police funding. So one of the things I do not do is I do not speed in the town of Paradise Valley. Why? Because they're making use of technology to track the speeders and to catch the speeders. When I've asked the police department, well, what about the vans that we have in Phoenix? Apparently there are 2, and they position them by hospitals and schools. And oh, by the way, I think lately one of them is broken. So I'm asking to provide some more, we're obviously not ever going to have enough sworn officers. That's just, we keep doing the same thing over and over again and we don't get any different results. But let's make use of technology. Let's get the speeders. And it's not just in Willow, it's throughout the city. I have seen no one ticketed for speeding or running a red light or running a stop sign. So that's what I'm asking for is 3rd and 5th and more police funding for technology.
Thank you. I have to admit, Bob, I got a ticket for speeding. I can remember no, on Highland and 7th Street. So just to let you know, and it was a parked City of Phoenix van. I was trying to get, I was coming from church. Dr. Robert Cannon.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Robert Cannon on behalf of the Willow Neighborhood Association and the Board of Directors. I am here this evening in official capacity representing the largest historic neighborhood within the city of Phoenix. And I know we spent a lot of time already talking about traffic, which is the subject that I'm going to discuss as well. So I'm going to my comments are going to be focused on a solution. In the Willow Neighborhood Association, we put together 2 years ago a plan called Vision 3.5. Because as Mr. Herman pointed out, we know that Roosevelt took 6 years and nothing's been dug up. So if you think about 3rd Avenue just for a second, between Roosevelt, Willow, north of Willow, up to Indian School, and you make a left, there are 3 different traffic patterns. Not 1, not 2, 3. So our concern is the safety of our children, our pedestrians. In the Willow neighborhood, the demographics is changing dramatically. We have more infants, more toddlers. The model of a historic neighborhood within the blend of the city is working. We've been extremely collaborative with the growth around us, working as partners with light rail, securing the neighborhood, and making sure that our investments are secure for our parties. Now, we submitted to the city, and Laura, I'm back again in another budget hearing. I've been to 5 or 6, but a couple, and we were met with not so much an open arm from the Streets and Transportation Department, and frankly, myself and the Willow neighborhood, we know a lot about traffic, maybe too much about traffic studies than we should, but we were lucky enough to have the MAG study done, which frankly came the opposite of what we requested. Yes, I said the opposite. So we are on year 2 of our Vision 3.5 proposal to the city. Instead of waiting for one to be done, we submitted our own. We're lucky to have a lot of talented people within the Willow neighborhood, but we are here as partners. We'd like to move forward together. We need the funding to protect the largest historic neighborhood in the city, because if Willow begins to buckle, it's a sign for the trend of the rest of the city. And I think traffic, congestion, the protection of our children, getting us off the news cycle for pedestrian and traffic needs to be studied. We need an overhaul of the Streets and Transportation Department. We need some strategic vision and not 3 different plans on 3rd Avenue. And it is just, I'm scared. We are scared for Willow residents, scared for all historic residents, as well as the city of Phoenix. I'm here in official capacity to raise this issue, which we have raised, but we politely request that it's now time for some action. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Brent Kleiman, the budget. No, I'm just reading it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brent Kleinman. First of all, as a resident of Encanto Palmcroft, right in the neighborhood, I want to welcome you all to our neighborhood. We love having you here. We love having Encanto Park and the Clubhouse here. The budget, the way we've looked at it and the way neighbors have talked about it, obviously more police, more fire would be a fabulous thing to have. There's not the money right now, and I know you're growing the numbers the best you can. And we appreciate the work you guys are doing at the city level. We definitely appreciate the policemen, firemen, and women that are here tonight and the work they do in the community, because without them, we wouldn't feel safe. But my goal in coming up and speaking tonight is not as much where I want to see improvements immediately and money spent, but visionary changes, sustainable energy changes when the city starts doing things. We are a city that has 350 days of sun. We don't put enough focus on solar energy, alternative energies. Oh, and on a side note, the gentleman from 7th Avenue, I've gotten 2 speeding tickets on 7th Avenue between Thomas and McDowell, so they give them out. Otherwise, other interests that we see, the historic preservation is very important. The partnership with improving the homelessness and transient population, the city's done well. Want to see the city continue to grow that program and those different programs. And one last thing that I wanted to address was the parks, the pools. Encanto Palmcroft just became the sponsor of the Cool Kids program, so that kids can swim for free at Encanto Park. But the hours and the time that the pool's open is ridiculous. We're in Arizona. It's going to be 99 degrees tomorrow. We do not have to have the pools open just Memorial Day to Labor Day. This isn't New England. This isn't Michigan. We're in Phoenix, Arizona. It could open next week. It could stay open till October. And I understand the funding. And late nights having it open, because it is 120 degrees during the summer in July and August. Let's have those pools open when the sun starts to set and it's actually bearable for parents to sit outside while their kids are swimming. So I ask that we look at the money that we're giving to the parks. We've tried to extend and manipulate the hours we have the pools open. We work with making Phoenix a more sustainable city and also low-cost housing. That was the last thing. I didn't bring notes, and I apologize. But you guys did a great job in starting that process with what you passed at the council meeting on yesterday. But that's a very small step in the right direction. We need affordable housing in this city, in the central city area, downtown Phoenix, and we really need to make that a priority. We give GIPLETs for all sorts of things. Let's start supporting some of the builders, the developers. They're going to say, we're going to make housing affordable. And that's just something that's so important to keep the workplace here. We don't want people having to drive from other cities to come work within Phoenix. Thank you all very much and keep up the great work.
Thank you. Jean Nance. Oh, there's Jean. I didn't know, I saw him walk in.
Well, I'm here to support the Willow 3.5 plan. As you can tell, I'm dressed as a bicyclist. In fact, I rode my bicycle over here. I'm probably the only one here that rode a bicycle. Anyway, I live north of McDowell on 3rd Avenue, and I've lived there only since 1945. So I've been around a lot longer in that house than you people have been born, most of you. So anyway, I have problems riding my bicycle. That area should be marked off for bicycles, pedestrians, and cars. That's all I want done. And I understand it's going to take a few years to get it in your budget. And although I'm close to 90 years old, don't do it on my 100th birthday. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Good to see you. Opal Wagner.
Hi, my name is Opal Wagner, and I also live in the Willow Historic District. I want to echo what my neighbors have said about traffic problems on 3rd and 5th Avenue. And the city of Phoenix has so many achievements and so much to be proud of. The pedestrian fatality statistics are something that we really need to address. And we are so afraid in our neighborhood with the speeding, the cut-through traffic, traffic popping out of the alleys, that there's going to be a tragedy in our neighborhood. So we're asking, we have a very proactive neighborhood association. We've put forth the vision that we want to see in our neighborhood, and we're asking the city to partner with us to make that happen sooner rather than later. And the other couple of things I wanted to bring up are, I support the proposed funding increases, of course, for police and fire, and for the Historic Preservation Office and Neighborhood Services. And those are the two departments that our neighborhoods, in order to maintain and improve strong and healthy neighborhoods that we have here in Central Phoenix, we rely on those two departments. The Historic Preservation Office does so much with so little. And in order to maintain these neighborhoods that we're so proud of, when people move in and don't understand the principles of historic preservation, they are so good at consulting with people and helping people to understand how to improve their homes in a way that actually preserves the neighborhood. So they definitely need more support. I've gone in there a couple of times recently to the walk-in desk and found out it's closed and it's not open any longer until the afternoon, just because they don't have the staff. They need more funding, and we need more staff. And neighborhood services also, we call them for code violations. And any time neighbors come to us, we rely on neighborhood services, and they just don't have the staff. A lot of times we don't even get a call back. We don't even get to talk to a live person on the phone. It's very frustrating. And then we end up just having to go down there and wait until somebody has time to talk with us. It shouldn't be that way. In order for us to work on improving our neighborhoods, we need the city to partner with us and provide more resources for these two departments that we rely on. Thank you.
Thank you. Brad Bauer, 3rd and 5th Avenue. After him will be Nelson Ross. And after that will be Laura Sands.
Good evening, Madam Councilwoman, Mr. Councilman, and Mr. City Manager. Thank you for taking your time this evening to spend with us and our neighbors. Good evening, everyone. Brad Brower, I'm a 35-year resident of the city of Phoenix and 15 years in the Willow Neighborhood Association, and sometimes the vice president of the Willow Neighborhood Association. However, living on 3rd Avenue in Monte Vista, as I have for the past 15 years, has been quite a treat. I've had a van turned upside down as someone turned in front of them, and they crashed into my front yard onto the city sidewalk. Just the other day, I had a Mercedes come peeling out of a alleyway between Palm and Holly that decided that he was going to run me over as I was crossing 3rd Avenue with my dogs, called me all sorts of fun names that normally I reserve for people who know me well. But and another situation also closer to our northern section where a 14-year-old boy was almost run over on his skateboard by someone peeling out of those alleyways as well. So we have a situation on 3rd and 5th Avenue in our alleys, et cetera, in the Willow Neighborhood Association. I'm obviously reiterating what a bunch of people have already said, but if you remember correctly, last year I was here asking for the same thing, funds towards correcting this problem that we have on 3rd and 5th Avenue, and what's happening south of us is becoming a one-lane, one-way. So when you're sitting in McDowell Road heading north on 3rd Avenue, you're seeing this wide path that you can now go speeding through, and if you hit those speed humps just right at 45, you take air, and people do this every day. So asking for some funding towards these situations to correct this problem and keeping Willow safe and going in the direction it needs to go in. And thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Nelson Ross. Funding for the arts. Let me guess, Child's Play?
Yes, yes it is. Thank you. Council members, Council City Manager, I just want to thank you for taking time to let us speak. I commend you for the intestinal fortitude to do 3 weeks of budget hearings like this. Sitting through one night, I can't imagine doing 3 weeks worth. I am Nelson Ross. I'm a lifelong resident of Phoenix, and I'm happy to say and proud to say that for 20 of those years, I've been a member of the Board of Trustees for Child's Play. You've heard a great deal about the organization, and I won't tell you what you've already heard, but just a couple of quick points that I do want to touch on. Last year, Child's Play reached more than 20,000 students in 125 City of Phoenix schools, and 57% of those children qualify for free lunches. So the support that you're giving through the increase for the funding for the rental support for us is greatly appreciated. Also want to let you know that of the 28 board members for Child's Play, 16 others and myself are residents of the City of Phoenix. So Phoenix does have a strong presence, and we continue to work a lot in conjunction with other city organizations in the City of Phoenix, such as the Black Theater Troupe and the Southwest Human Development. So again, thank you for your time, and I thank you for your support of the arts.
Thank you. I'm still working for you to move to Phoenix. Laura Sands. Oh, we will. We have Chris Mackey in the back. Chris, connect with Child's Play. They're looking for space. Go ahead.
Hi there.
Zachary, after this one.
I'm Laura Sands. I live in the Willow neighborhood. So Child's Play Willow, Child's Play Willow. That's how it goes tonight. I, too, am deeply concerned about our streets, not just traffic, but safety on our streets. I live a very local life. I get around by bike mostly, then as a pedestrian, and I take the car out once a week to get groceries. Biking here tonight, of course, was quite lovely because there were bike lanes the whole way, but then I arrived and there's no place to park my bike, so I actually kind of locked my bike to John's bike because there's almost no parking facilities here for bicycles. And I notice this a lot as I move around the city. The city spent a huge amount of money doing this wonderful redesign of Roosevelt Street and put in these parking meters and not a single bike ring to lock our bikes to when you get down towards 5th Street. It can be very frustrating to bike and bike and bike and then have nowhere to leave your bike safely. So I would love to see the city invest a little bit more in those of us who are not getting around by car. And I'd like to feel safer on a bike, and I'd like to have protected bikeways. I would like to see streets department be a little more nimble, be a little bit more experimental, not tell me, well, in 5 years' time, we can work that into the budget and maybe try that out. Often when you ask for something, they say, and I'd like to hear them say, that's an interesting idea. How would you like to implement that, or how can we help you make that happen? So I would love for City Council and the City Manager, as he develops the budget, to put money towards enforcement of our traffic laws, enforcement of speed, more facilities for those of us who are getting around by alternative methods. I'd like to see more of us on bike. This is a beautiful city. It's flat, it's sunny, it's easy to get around, but it doesn't always feel safe. So, thank you.
Thank you. Zachary Holman, and then after that is Reina Samani. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Zachary Holman. Thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight. I live in Willow, and I'm married to Lara Sands. How many of you came here by car tonight? You can raise your hands. You don't need to be shy. And now keep them up for this part. How many of you would be a bit frustrated if when you got here there were no parking spaces? Not that they were all full, just they didn't exist. Yeah, so that was the experience for 10% of us here tonight, based on my count of the bicycles outside and the people in the room. And I hadn't actually planned to speak, but I was inspired because of that. And so I'd like to speak on behalf of bicycle facilities, on behalf of public transportation. I'm lucky enough living in Willow and working at ASU in Tempe that I can take the light rail every day. And so my wife and I own one car, and we put 5,000 miles on it between us last year. And I would love for everybody else to have the opportunity to do that and to skip the traffic if they so desired. So I'd love to ask for your support for more public transportation facilities, and particularly bicycling facilities. And I'd like to ask not so much for additional dollars, because you'll get lots of asks for dollars tonight, but rather for you to share our sense of urgency. I think you'll hear from the people, particularly of Willow tonight, that we're really ready to see something different, and we want to work with you to make that happen. And I hope you can help. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Reina?
Hello, I'm Reina Samani, and I live over near Hants Park. I'm here to talk about graffiti. Now, I have lived in Phoenix for 2 years, and I love it here. It's beautiful. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and I was born in 1960. So I remember when Los Angeles was beautiful. And there's certain times when I have looked at Phoenix, and I remember when I used to see those beautiful sights in Los Angeles. So I'm very happy to be here. And I remember when I first came here, I didn't see any graffiti, but I've noticed in the 2 years that I have been here that there has been a steady increase in graffiti. And I've noticed that the graffiti is not really gang graffiti. It is copycat graffiti. It is want to be gang graffiti. That means that they're bored children that want to be in gangs. That means that there's not enough activities out there for our young people. We need to have the money put in for these young people to have something for them to do. Otherwise, there's going to be scouts coming from other states to recruit the young people because they're going to see these want-to-be graffiti on the walls. We need to get the graffiti off as soon as possible. It shouldn't be on there more than 24 hours. I've seen it everywhere, in every part of the state, because being new here, I drive everywhere because I want to know about this place. So that's what I wanted to bring up. I know about this because I used to work for the police department as a community service officer. I believe you call them police assistants here. So I just wanted to bring that up because it's very important to me. I don't want to see what happened to the city that I lived in, California, happen here, because this is a really nice place. Thank you.
So, Raina, you're in luck because here tonight with us is Spencer Self, who's the director of our Neighborhood Services Department, and they have the Graffiti Busters program, and their goal is to get graffiti out within 24 hours, and so he can talk to you about the hotline and ways to get connected with that and make sure that we're going to the right places. So thank you. Spencer, raise your hand. There he is.
I see him.
All right.
And I'm sure.
Here you go now. Here it is.
Okay, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that's seeing this graffiti around town.
No, ma'am.
So I'm just wondering how come, I'm not the only one upset by this.
We have
Why are
lots
there
of
so
people
many
upset by it. We have over 500 square miles to cover for graffiti, so we're not going to see everything, which is why we need residents like you letting us know when it happens, and we can get out there and get after it. So, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else wants to speak? Wow, I think this one's a record for me. Councilman Nowakowski, you want to say a few words? Okay. Just really appreciate neighborhoods participating in the budget process. I am hoping that next year with participatory budgeting, it will be a little different in the sense of it starts earlier and we can narrow down with the community as to what we feel like is the most important thing to fund. You will see in participatory budgeting, there's only so much money, and you will see what some of the fixed costs and where then what money is left to see where to put it, and also how it gets ranked. And so it's a new program. We'll be unveiling it pretty soon, and if you can't participate in local meetings, you can do it online. So thank you. I had one more. Pedestrian safety, Tuesday at 2:30 at City Hall, no, at Council Chambers. Discussion will be happening.
Well, I just want to thank you all for coming out. It's so great to come to different areas to hear the local issues, right? And there's some individuals that happen to go to all the meetings, and thank you for showing up to all the meetings that I was at. But what's interesting is the traffic problems that we're having in the downtown area. So I represent the area just south of McDowell. So we're working on that 3rd Avenue and 5th Avenue on the south side of McDowell, making sure that we met with the community out there. We actually got a plan together, and it's going to start really soon. Hopefully we can extend it, working along with Laura, to the Willow area that we really need to do. One of the things I remember is when I first got elected, I was actually, I think it was like my 3rd year, I was getting recalled by, what was that guy's name? Richard Gaynor, was it? Yeah, because of, I know that Willow really is involved and they wanted to slow down traffic, so they were actually coming up with a solution. They were willing to put in their own funding to put in some ways to slow down the traffic with landscaping and all that. And there were some neighbors that were upset. So it's an interesting conversation when it comes to changing, putting speed bumps, roundabouts, and all that kind of stuff. So, well, I'm ready to engage that. I think we're going to have fun again. And one of the other things we talked about was just public safety, from crossing the streets to riding bicycles. So actually just yesterday, there's a PSA that myself and Thelda Williams and the Sons Gorilla, we created on pedestrian safety. and it's going to be a series of 4 different PSAs that are going to be aired throughout the city. And if you'd like to go onto our website and actually share that, I think it's really important. What's really important also is that when you hear a siren, when you see an ambulance or hear an ambulance, you need to pull over. It's really, really disturbing that people just stop. And that ambulance is stuck in traffic because everybody just stops. Nobody pulls to the right anymore. So we're going to have some PSAs educating people on pulling over when you hear a siren or you see the lights. The other thing is just children, crosswalks and all that. That it doesn't mean that you can just, when you see 15 miles per hour, it means 15 miles per hour. So we're going to have all these PSAs trying to educate individuals that you would think they would be educated already on those different issues. But once again, thank you so much for coming out. We heard you loud and clear about the homeless situation, heard you loud and clear that how important the arts are for our community. And it's not just about the arts, but it's also the revenues that it brings to our city of Phoenix, and actually people from all around the state to come see a play and have dinner, and all those tax revenues actually stay here. So we want to thank you for making us that destination point for other cities to come. And we heard you loud and clear about more youth programs that we have to do. And the Graffiti Busters, they've been around for a while. We created a new program probably about 9 years ago called Blight Busters also, where citizens can get trained for about 100 hours, and then you can actually become a blight buster, where you can actually give citations out to your neighbors that are violating the blight busters or the blight issues of the city of Phoenix. So it's interesting when neighbors come together with ideas, and we try to implement them. So once again, thank you, and thank you for bringing these local issues, because it's so important to address those. God bless y'all, and thanks.